I am an Air Force nurse, and I came on active duty in September of 1972, and the Vietnam War was starting to wind down at that point. My first duty assignment was at Wilford Hall in San Antonio, Texas, and I think one of the things I remember the most about being there was when the buses would come back from the flight line, and all of these patients and some POWs would get off the bus. And if we were working on the other side of the hospital at that time, we'd all go over to the windows on the side where the buses came. And there'd be maybe 2 or 3 buses at a time full of patients. And they could usually walk off the bus. Very rarely did I see somebody come off on a stretcher. But it was just very moving at that time to see so many returning. You were thrilled that they came back. And if anybody was lucky enough to be outside, they all applauded for them. And it just kind of would get you. So yes, it was very moving, very. I can still see that right now, and it's been more than, 40 years since that happened, so. We didn't get to really see them, but did not know what their stories were, what they'd been through prior to that, but I know once they were there, they were greatly relieved to be back. You just treat them like anybody else, whether somebody in to have a hernia repair or somebody coming back with more severe injuries, you tried to give them the best care you could. Several years ago, I was in Germany visiting an Air Force friend, and we went to Landstuhl Hospital, and patients were coming back within 24 hours of being injured on the field to get back to Germany. And the advances in medicine is so great from what it used to be. So, war is never good, and the injuries are going to occur, but it's a little reassuring, I think, for people to know that they have a better chance of survival now. And I remember one individual who had been shot in the leg and was waiting for surgery before he could get sent back to the States. But I was just amazed that within 24 hours he was back from being injured in the field to being in the hospital. So everything's amazing, I think, now. And the advances in technology, a lot of it came because of wartime, though, too. Our medicines and treatments that are available. So I think women in general in the military, don't be afraid of it. Used to be a man's world, but there are women who paved the way for people like me. And I was a nurse when I went into the service. I'm still a nurse after 50 plus years. So life presents a big world out there, and people just need to take advantage of it. So I'm still keeping my license current so I can go to Sierra Leone, West Africa on a medical mission, and been doing that about 7 or 8 years now. So that's been very rewarding also. And I just want to preface some of my comments by stating that before I was in the Air Force, I had been a Peace Corps volunteer also. And I'd been in South Korea in the Peace Corps for 24 months. And was back home working at Midway Hospital in St. Paul, and was getting restless, and that's when I saw an ad to see the world, join the Air Force, and I called the number and signed up, and yes, so I went back to South Korea in the Air Force by choice. So it's been a good life. Learned a lot, met a lot of people, and I'm happy to have done it. Several people, from my different duty assignments, and those are good connections. If you don't see each other for 5 or 10 years, you pick up right where you left off. Very special, yes, very, very rewarding.